Hey guys, Nicole here with Nicole Does Stuff, and I got my February 2015 Darby Smart Craft Box today. And this is technically my first box, even though I kind of cheated and got impatient for waiting, so I bought a box off eBay for one of their past months. So let's see what my first real box is. The cool thing about Darby Smart is you're not just getting a bunch of stuff in your box. You're getting stuff and then you get to make something with all that stuff you get. I've got everything out. I've got paints, a brush, chocolate, which from what I could tell from my quick examination is edible. We have some stencils. They're really pretty flower and leaf designs, as well as some letters. We've got our mystery bubble wrapped item. Oh, I think they're coasters. We've got two of them. And then we've got the code Coco. So let's find out what project this is. Alright, so we go to the Darby Smart page and we enter the code Coco. This month's project is decorative monogram ring dishes, which is kind of cool because who doesn't have miscellaneous stuff laying around, whether it be jewelry or dice or what have you. Apparently the pop bar is totally different from the project. It's just something you can sip and enjoy. So follow the directions on the back of the packaging and watch as your chocolate melts into a delicious cup of cocoa. So I am totally okay with this. I love me some chocolate. So it looks like it's pretty simple. You're just going to stencil and paint it, and then remove the stencil immediately, wait 3 minutes and layer your next design, and then you're gonna bake it to seal the paint. I didn't notice that, but this is enamel paint, which I've never worked with before. I thought it was just acrylic paint because I've bought folk art acrylic paint in like similar bottles, so that's neat. I get to work with a new medium. So prior to starting my project, I have heated up my milk in the microwave, and I'm going to go ahead and get my pop bar melting in there. So that'd be a nice treat to enjoy while I work on this. I'm not sure how long it'll take to melt. I might even have to reheat it again, but we'll set that off to the side. And then I've got my newspaper laid down so I can keep my table nice and clean, and then I'm going to start to paint. So I thought for one of these I would make the entire inside blue. I haven't really thought out too much what I want to do as far as my pattern. But oh wow, that coats a lot better than I thought it would. I thought it would be thinner and I'd be seeing the bottom more, but it actually sticks really well to the dish. Let that dry and then give it a second coat of the blue. While I'm waiting for the teal one to dry, I got my stencil placed on this one, and as long as I lifted carefully, I was able to reposition it quite a bit. And then it said make sure you rub and press down so that paint doesn't get under the stencil when you're working. The only spot I'm kind of worried about is right here. It doesn't really want to stay down. So I'm just going to get a little bit of paint on my brush, and I'm going to gently dab it on there straight up and down to minimize my chances of it going under the stencil. And I've decided I don't want to do this cluster of grapes. I just want to do all the vines leading up to it. And then it says you should remove the stencil immediately, so while the paint's still wet. And I noticed on this one I have to be very careful because there are a lot of little pieces that could tear off. I'm trying to go at it from different angles. There we go. And unfortunately it's not all that precise, but it still looks pretty cool. You can see it smudged a little bit up there. Probably part of the problem was because I was trying to work with the curve there, and then I don't know why that smudged. I thought I had that down really well. I imagine it's like anything else, it gets easier as you practice. So let's see how the pop bar is doing. Oh, it's melting, definitely. Give it a stir. So I zapped it for another minute and it's mostly melted now. I think that's as good as it's gonna get. And it turned it kind of yellowy. And this was the chocolate vanilla. Ooh, very hot, very tasty. So I ended up just putting my used stencil back on the sheet and using a paper towel to wipe off some of the excess paint that was on it. Looks like it should be plenty reusable. And then I was also kind of upset about my blurred lines on here, so I decided to start scratching at it. And you can just use a toothpick to kind of clean up your lines a bit, which is good to know. So you don't have to feel bad if you make mistakes. That cleaned up nicely using the toothpick. The bad thing I found out is since the paint is so easily removed, when I went to put my second layer on the turquoise dish, it started peeling the first layer off, so I had to actually just wash the entire thing off. Okay, so I decided to just put the large stencil on the one that I washed the teal off of instead. And then I also noticed that I wanted to do the same stencil I did on this side, but like if the sticker overlaps too much, it was starting to catch on the paint and pull it up. So hopefully it's not doing it right there, but I've just got a tiny little bit overlapped on each side. I did press down really well on the sticker again, but now I'm not quite so worried since I know I can scrape off any mistake areas. I got tired of the brush because it was so big and switched over to using Q-tips, which I really like because it's giving me more control. It fits into smaller areas, and I can also put it directly in the cap of the paint when I want to grab paint out of it. So I can get in these little gaps and do two colors at the same time. And I don't have to rinse my brush out in between every time. So I finished stenciling both my ring dishes. I'm going to give the one with the initials on it to a friend as a present, so hopefully if she sees this episode, she just pretends to be surprised or forgets about it by the time Christmas rolls around. And then this one I'm keeping for myself. So I just have to wait for the paint to dry, and then I have to cure it in the oven. It's been an hour, my paint should be dry, and now it's time to put them in the oven to cure the paint. So it says you put it into a cooled oven, which I'm guessing is so that you don't crack the porcelain. So we're doing that. And then the paint says you're supposed to heat it to 350, but the Darby Smart instructions said 300, so we're going to err on the side of caution and just set it for 300. Let it heat up, and then it has to stay in there for a half hour. After that half hour, you turn off the heat and let it cool down. The oven has cooled down enough where I can take these out. They look pretty good. I'm really not noticing a whole lot of difference, but I'm guessing it set it so it can't be scratched off as easily. Let me grab a toothpick and try. No, it still scratches off, so I'm not quite sure how this cured it. I'm almost wondering if I'm going to have to get a clear gloss to go over it or something. So hopefully over time, as I store jewelry in it, it won't scratch it up too much. And do this as a little test and see. I don't expect it to be nearly this rough, so if it holds up to that, it should be good for a while. Still looks good. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in getting Darby Smart, please use my referral link. It will get me a credit so I can continue making these box videos, and also you will get a discount on your order. Thanks for watching.